So you're thinking about starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you don't know where to start. Let me help you out. My name is Tim Fowler, owner of Ocean View Martial Arts and a BJJ black belt. When you're first starting out, you got to find somewhere to go. First things first, easiest thing to do, go to Google, look up gyms near you. When you do, look at some of the top hits. It's usually some of the more popular schools, and check out the reviews and read them and see what people have to say about that school. Check out their website, learn about the instructors. Most schools, put all their information of who they are, what they expect, what to expect for new students. Sometimes they'll have videos and they'll have information for people who are coming in for the first time. A lot of times, like me, they give a free intro class. Come in, see if you like it before you spend any money. I'm the type of person that, hey, if you come in, you like us, we like you, hey, we can do business. Not everybody's, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So, same thing. Everyone else has to figure out what you want to do, when you want to do it, and where you want to do it. You find some schools, feel free to give them a call ahead of time. Ask them, what do you need to bring? What do you need to do? If they have loaner uniforms, if you don't already have one, or, if you're just starting out, you probably don't know what you need, don't know what size. They can tell you everything there. Some schools, they require you to wear their gi. So don't spend the money yet. Get in touch with the school that you want to go to and figure out what their policies are. Everyone's a little different. Some people say, oh, if they make you wear their gear, it's a McDojo. No, it's a business decision. All right. Some schools want their school to look a certain way, have a certain aesthetic with the students. The best grappler in the world, Gordon Ryan, his school has a dress code. You have to wear black or white gis, and they have very specific, rules for what colors to wear and, for what belts and whatnot. That's totally fair. That's his choice. That's his aesthetic that he wants for his business. All right. If you don't like it, hey, there's other schools. Like me here in the Hampton Roads area, there's a lot of schools to choose from. And that's what I tell people. Try me out, see if you like it. If you don't, no worries. I'll point you to other schools that are really good in the area. All right. Other things to consider when it's your first time going into class, you don't know what to expect. When you go in, be ready to be a little overwhelmed, right? Because you're in a new environment. People in there are doing all sorts of different workouts. You might have, MMA going on or Muay Thai. Don't be intimidated. All right. The staff, most places, are pretty welcoming and friendly. When you come in, expect to sign a waiver. All right. Because it's a combat sport. It's a combat martial art. You can get hurt. So yes, expect to sign a waiver. It's normal. That's that school protecting themselves. Now, if they do something that's completely dangerous and crazy, then their waiver doesn't cover them. But you shouldn't be training it anywhere that's dangerous and does things unsafe. Once you're in there, like I said, just listen to what they have to tell you. 9 times out of 10, most schools will have a loaner uniform if they wear the gi, or they'll tell you what to wear, like shorts and a rash guard, or shorts and a t-shirt with no, shorts with no pockets or zippers. They want to make sure they take care of their mats. A lot of schools have different ways of cleaning your feet before getting on and off the mat, just so you know. Do not wear shoes on someone's mat. Unless they tell you you can, which is weird. I never do it. People are not allowed to wear shoes on my mat. In fact, I say, hey, life is short. It's even shorter if you wear shoes on my mat. So don't wear your shoes on the mat. Make sure your feet are clean. When you go in for your first day, make sure you take a shower. Put some deodorant on. Nobody wants to roll with you if you smell. All right? Nobody wants to be real up close and personal with you if your body odor is a little overwhelming. Also, no cologne, right? Nobody wants to breathe in, whatever it is you're wearing and be all smell like you after class, okay? Cut your fingernails and toenails. The last thing people want to do is get scratched while they're on the mat, even though you don't mean to. It can happen, accidents happen, but cut your nails, especially if you have long fingernails. You got to trim them back. And when you're there, just have fun. Try it out. See what happens. Don't take, you're going to be out of your comfort zone. You're going to have heavy people and other people on top of you. You're going to be on them. You're going to be hot. It's going to be sweaty. It's very close quarters. So you have to be okay with that. And you got to be humble because, look, you're not going to be good at it right away. I promise you. You will not be some phenom that comes out the gate beating everybody. All right? You're going to get beat. You're not going to do well right away. Starting jiu-jitsu is hard. All right? Jiu-jitsu, plain and simple, is not the easiest art in the world to learn. And as you move up, you'll start to figure it out. I always tell my first-time students who are in the intro class, imagine jiu-jitsu as a foreign language. And today I taught you a letter in the alphabet of said foreign language. And there's so much more to it. So don't be overwhelmed by all the information or the fact that you don't know every position. It takes time. And you just got to keep coming. And you just got to keep doing the classes and paying attention and doing what you can to retain. As a white belt, your focus really shouldn't be on getting submissions or how many times you get submitted. Your focus should be, where does my body need to be? What position am I supposed to be in? Where is my weight supposed to be? Those are goals that every white belt should be looking for, because 9 times out of 10, when you're in here, unless you have a wrestling background, you really don't know where your body is supposed to be, where your weight should be, how to distribute your weight, where to not put your knees together, how to, sprawl your hips down. All these things take time to learn. Let's talk about red flags. So if you go to a school and you're visiting, here are some red flags that I consider red flags, and things that I don't consider red flags that you may read are a red flag. Okay? Red flag number 1, if you come in there and they don't have you sign a waiver, that's kind of telling. That means they're not really taking care of the legal aspects, and you may have other holes. Okay? If they have you sign a waiver, that means they care about their students themselves, and they're trying to make sure everyone understands the risks involved in doing jiu-jitsu or other combat sports. Red flag number 2, if the place is not clean, if you walk in and there's a smell and the mats have dirt and crumbs and everything else on there, that's a red flag. For me, I clean these mats multiple times a day because I like a clean gym. I also like it that when people walk in, they can take a deep breath and go, it smells clean in here. It doesn't smell like feet. It doesn't smell like a locker room. Okay? So if you want a nice clean space, make sure you go somewhere that they do take good care of their mats. And they, that's important, because skin-borne illnesses are gross. Ringworm and impetigo are not something you want to have. So cleanliness on their mats and cleanliness of their gear, very important, because if they also do striking or whatnot, or add striking into the self-defense aspects of jiu-jitsu, and you put gloves on that are loner gloves and they just smell like feet, I mean, come on, guys. Lysol. So make sure the gym is clean. If it's not clean and you feel gross and icky, you make sure you take a shower afterwards and really clean yourself up. All right, that might be a pretty big red flag if they're not. If they do a pay for belt testing, now I get it. Sometimes some people do, but I always kind of think it's suspect if people pay to get promoted. It adds to some questions of legitimacy. In all the time I've done jiu-jitsu, I've never had to pay for a belt or have to pay for belt testing. The current lineage I'm under, they all require a test to get all the way up to brown belt. And, other big names like Roy Dean also do tests. And that's totally fine. I agree with the test aspect, because my students, when they earn their next level, their next belt, they never sit there and go, I don't deserve this. At the end of that test and at the end of the rolls that they do, every single one of them goes, hell yeah, I earned this, 100%. But if they make you pay for it, that might be a little, I don't know, that's kind of a red flag for me. Okay, so another red flag is if they can't tell you who promoted them, or if they say, God promoted me to black belt, which is a thing. I've actually seen that on McDojo, and there's people out there who say that God promoted them to black belt. Most instructors that are black belts, if not all, should be able to tell you their lineage. Like, as for me, I can tell people right, like, I was promoted by Ron Manis, who's a 2nd degree black belt under Pete Wilhelm, who's a 4th degree black belt under Renato Tavares, and Master Renato learned from Carlson Gracie. So I can take my lineage all the way up, and I also post all of my certificates on the wall that show my lineage and who's promoted me in which art. So if they can't tell you who promoted them and it's kind of shady, that might be a red flag. Another red flag is if they talk trash about other schools nearby. I never do this. I'm not a fan of talking trash about another school. I just simply tell anyone that comes in here and says, hey, I'm looking around. I said, cool. Take the Pepsi challenge. Come here. Try us out. If you don't like us, that's cool. If you go somewhere else and you find something better, awesome. No hard feelings. No big deal. I don't care if you want to train somewhere else. If you don't want to be here, that's great. I want people that want to be here. But if another school immediately says, well, you don't want to go to them, they do this and that, or I beat that, I did this and that, that's not a good look, and that means they're maybe a little insecure about their own skills and training methods. If they talk trash about other arts, or maybe you're not thinking about just jiu-jitsu, but you're actually shopping around different martial arts like judo or Muay Thai or karate or taekwondo, what have you. If they start saying, well, karate's a dead art, you know what? No, karate has absolutely some applications. You can absolutely learn from it, gain discipline, fitness. I don't talk trash about any other martial art unless it's something that's just completely ridiculous. But otherwise, you know, you shouldn't have to talk bad about anybody else. There's a guy on TikTok who always says Filipino martial arts is the best thing in the world. And I'm like, you didn't have to do that. If you just talk about the cool stuff, I'd want to learn about the knives and the stick fighting and all that. I think that's awesome. But when it comes to, the ground, jiu-jitsu is the best. When it comes to takedowns, you get wrestling and judo. When it comes to striking, you have Muay Thai, you have boxing, you have Dutch kickboxing. You have all kinds of different ways to learn how to do different things. And no one art is necessarily better than all the others. So keep that in mind when you're checking out your gyms and you're trying to figure out what school you want to go to. Not everything's going to be a red flag. Not everything's bad. But if you get a creepy vibe, you get a creepy vibe. If you come in and you feel like you're at home, maybe that's the place for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And I'll be more than happy to answer them. Answer any questions you guys might have about jiu-jitsu, judo, MMA, what have you. I'll be more than happy to answer. Like and subscribe. We're going to be putting out more videos with content with different moves of the week and different behind the scenes of what happens, what do we do here, and also like our ADCC vlog. So talk to you guys later.